Tonight we will look at three principles or ideas for successful marriage of submission, of dwelling with honor and respect, and practicing the mind of Christ. As we do these things, our marriages will become better. Let's get into these scriptures. Okay. 1 Peter 3:1, wives, likewise be submissive to your own husbands, then even if some who do not obey the word, they without the word may be won by the conduct of their wives. Remember, submission, whether it's to the government, Peter talked about that earlier, whether it is to employer-employee relationships, we always have a goal to be a blessing and to share the gospel and to help people understand God. And our submission has that in mind. So a wife is being submissive here so that she can win her husband to the Lord by her very conduct, the way she behaves. Okay? And there's a goal in mind. Submission isn't just submission. Okay? Dogging or whatever. Verse 2, when they observe your chaste conduct, accompanied by fear, okay, they observe it. And, in a marriage, even the most block, dense husband eventually recognizes the qualities that is in his wife. And if they don't, and they're clouded by abuse, that's not a marriage. Okay? That's not a marriage. But husbands tend to really watch their wives very carefully. And oftentimes, even somebody like Mark Twain, he, as dense as he was spiritually, and he was dense, he realized that his wife as a Christian had many fine qualities that he regretted the way he behaved later in life. So, you think smarts would do this, but no, it's a little more than that. Do not let adornment be merely outward, the arranging of your hair, wearing of gold, putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of the heart with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. Now, mirror watching is kind of interesting. All right. Here I have a picture of a young girl, a Norman Rockwell painting, 1954. And this young girl, she is looking very pensive at the mirror. She has the adult in the magazine that she is looking at this beautiful woman, and then she's looking at herself and how she might measure up. Now, what do you see with this young woman, this young girl? Isn't she beautiful? Is she probably more beautiful than the actress that she might be looking at? I think so. Does she see that in the mirror? Oh, that's the biggest question, isn't it? That's the biggest question. But mirrors reveal who we are and what we look like. And even in my filming here, I recognize that I look old and, all of the other little things that come with it. So, but mirrors are kind of important. a girl can look in a mirror, and if there's one part of that hair that's out of place, she may go to that part of her hair all the day. Okay? Us guys, sometimes we just look into a mirror. Well, I can't. Where is there? But we may forget what we look at, right? But here's another. I did a cartoon here. This is my little guy, and he's looking in the mirror, and life can be complicated. And my little guy, when he looks in the mirror, he sees loser. He sees loser. It doesn't help him. He doesn't see the character or the beauty that might be inside or even outside. He just sees himself in a bad way. So looking into the mirror can be complicated, and that's for sure. Okay, but when we are looking here, we want to make sure that our beauty, and believe me, if girls are beautiful, and it's wonderful when they take care of their looks. But over the years, the real character of the person is what's precious to the Lord, and actually precious in a marriage. It's what gives that person a beauty that is undescribable. And so that's what Peter's talking about. He's not talking about it's wrong to, look good or be in fashion or, take care of our hair and everything like that. Although I can tell you, all of us, we look into the mirror, we've gotten older, and it's amazing to me how many people that were good looking when they were younger, they're still good looking when they're older. What to do. But I would trade, of course, how I look today with how I looked when I was younger. Whatever I thought of myself when I was younger sure looks better than what I'm doing right now. But I'm over that. The point is that it's okay to take care of yourself, but the real take care is what's going on in our character, and that to me is what gives us our appeal in a marriage, in a relationship, and it just excels over time. Okay, it excels over time. So let's move ahead. Now, we go back into the Bible history, and for this manner in former times, the holy women who trusted in God also adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands. Sarah was a beautiful woman that we're going to be looking at here. She was so beautiful that two rulers really fell for her, and Abraham lied. That's not him. But she was a good-looking female, and tells us here, Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. Whose daughters are you if you do good and are not afraid with any terror? Okay. Now here, Sarah is a role model and looked up to. Peter was Jewish, and if he's looking in the Old Testament for a woman of character, he would look at Sarah. And I like that little phrase at the end, and are not afraid with any terror. Well, doing good in a marriage is great. But if there's terror, like I said, that's not a marriage. That's something else. And I'm being very blunt on this one. We really do, guys, need to make sure that we're managing our anger and we're making our marriage what God intended it to be. Now, we get to husbands. One verse. Well, I got to spend a little time with this verse. In the fairness doctrine. Okay. Husbands, likewise. Likewise. Okay, so whatever we learned in 1-6, husbands, likewise, dwell with them with understanding. Okay. A woman and a man are different. Both need to understand that the creature that they married isn't exactly like them. And while that's obvious, it's true in every part of our personality. And so we as husbands, we have now entered a lifetime of learning the female point of view. We might have gotten a head start with our mothers, okay, our aunts, our sisters, but now we're into graduate level study as we are married, and we are growing in our understanding. She doesn't think like I do. That's actually a good thing to know. She's not actually thinking what I'm thinking. You know how in marriage you think that one another are thinking the same thing? No, they're probably not. Have you ever looked at a dog and just wondered what he was thinking, or she? I've looked at them and I'm convinced that they're ready to think about food all the time. They may have other things that they're thinking about, but it's ongoing. Well, we're sort of the same way as humans. We don't think alike, and we're not wired the same way. I know we live in a world where we're trying to wire everything the same, but it's not going to work, and it's just not going to happen. But we're growing in our understanding and appreciation. And actually, like I said, I love it. I love it. I love what I call the battle of the sexes. I have loved every person. Not love, I'm referring to, I've enjoyed every person that I've worked with, everyone that I've gotten to know and spent time with of the opposite sex, because they're different people, man. They're different. And I'm different from them. But I love it. I love understanding more. And I appreciate their point of view. I argue with it. I don't give up, I don't surrender. But I appreciate it. But learning to honor, yeah, that's great. Respect. Oh, yeah. Man, I've worked with people, females I'm talking about, that are superior brain. I work with females who have had superior health. I've worked with females who are very capable in many ways. Okay? I'm all for females doing 20 push-ups. Okay? I try to do 20 push-ups every day. I don't go on the floor anymore because I can't get up on the floor real easy. I can get off the floor, by the way, but I don't like doing it because it hurts my knees and stuff like that. So I do push-ups at different levels, but each level that you go lower, more of your body weight you're able to put into it. I got a lot of body weight, so it's a workout, let me tell you. But I love it, and I do it every day. But I think gals should too, because I think gals need that strength in their upper bodies. I think a girl can do very good in many ways as a carpenter. Remember when I don't know about you, but I used to watch Home Improvement with Dean Johnson, and he always had somebody helping him from the female gender, and they were great at what they did: hammering, sawing, carrying things around. Yeah. She just looked better than he did, at least in my mind. But you know, they were very good. Now, probably they made mistakes, and like in this old house, they had to bring Norm Abram in to do the corrections. But nevertheless, I think girls can learn to handle a hammer. You know, uh, I anyway, I used to see the old way where the hand used to be real close to the head of the hammer, and they're pounding like that, rather than have the whole hammer extend. Well, a girl can learn to do that. Look how much girls have learned to throw. You know, girls throw, many girls, not all, many girls can throw a ball like a guy, and they've learned to do that. There was a time when every girl threw like a girl. And I, I'm old, so I can remember these things. But now there's girls that can actually throw the ball, and this and that. I'm all for that, But it still it doesn't compensate the differences. And I'm not just talking physical strength. Everything about us is different. But boy, we can learn to honor it. Okay, we can learn to honor it. Respect it. Respect. Giving honor to his wife. Key in the Old Testament, key to relationship is respect. Honor your father and mother. For this will give you a long life, right? It says in the Old Testament. Well, honor in the home is everything. When a father honors his wife, when the wife and the husband honor the children, when the children return and they honor their parents, when all of those guys honor their grandparents, you see how it works. A lot of problems dissolve when we respect someone. When we see that someone is created in the image of God, that's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Okay? Now, one more thing I wanted to point out about that verse was, if a guy doesn't do that, his prayers are hindered. If you're a guy and your prayers aren't being answered, how are you in the home? Do you respect your wife? Do you respect your children? Do your children respect you? Oh, that's yeah. Okay, we can work on that one. So it's all the way around. Now the last paragraph. Finally, all of you be of one mind, having compassion for one another, love as brothers, be tenderhearted, be courteous, and in some translations, it tells us that the brothers, of course, refer to both men and women, and I think that's true when we hear that. But when we practice the mind of Christ, think about what that does in a marriage. Okay, think what that does in a child-parent relationship. This is good stuff. Think about when you taught your children to do this. Man, it's great. Okay? Not returning evil for evil or reviling for reviling. All right? There is no help for a marriage when both people are just trading evil. That marriage is not a marriage. It's become something evil. But on the contrary, blessing. Turn it around. Work on your abuse. Work on it. Work on your anger. Turn it around. Be a blessing. Honor, respect, love. Knowing that you're called this, that you may inherit a blessing. Okay? For he who would love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips from speaking deceit. Again, putting honesty in the marriage, putting honesty in our relationships, not putting one another down, but seeking to build each other up. Okay? I can be very sarcastic, but I need to be very complimentary. And, it's a good thing. It helps relationships. Okay? For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayer. Okay? This is why you work on abusive behavior. Not only do you want to have a better relationship in your family, but you want to have a better relationship with God. You want God to hear you. He's not going to hear you if you're abusive and out of control in your anger. He's just not. Okay? And so I think it's very important for you to do that. And I may have skipped a verse here. Go back to verse 11. Let him turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. That's where the mind goes in anger management. Turning from that abusive stuff, seeking peace and pursuing it, making it a goal. I've made it a goal in my old age not to let anger out. I've made it a goal. And instead, I've made it a goal to try to communicate logically and sensitively, spiritually, with whatever, so that we're really working on the problems and I'm not becoming the problem. If I am not becoming the problem with abuse, then we can work on the problems and our marriage can be sweeter and nicer and greater. And that's been my goal. All of my married life has been a goal, but man, in the last 10, 11 years, I have really upped my game on this one. And for the first time in my life, I've eliminated the cycle of anger building up and all that kind of business because I immediately take care of it when it comes up. I immediately begin to deal with it right away. I don't let it fester a moment. Not for me. I get on it as soon as I can. Okay? So then we got to verse 12, which we went into. And God can hear us, and love us. So these are good things. And I really can't go any more into this. There's more that I have. And, so we need to check our attitudes and our actions. And we need to give attention to what we need to pay attention to. And so if we do these things, we can have a real good marriage. And if you're really ready to work on it, then God can do tremendous changes. And there are a lot of therapy out there and support that can help you so that it can turn it all around for you. And you'll experience the joy that you haven't experienced in a very, very long time. And so I want to encourage you in it as we think about these things. I think as we put our marriages in light of love and respect, that marriage has a good statement for people about what Christ is all about. And that's the goal and purpose, right? That others might be won to Christ. So we want to live that way. Well, until next time, take care. Keep listening. Well, I hope this study helps you get the idea that there's hope for your marriage when you take responsibility for your abuse and you work on it. Make sure you seek out the proper therapy and counsel, and keep working on it day by day, and the blessings of a gentler marriage will happen.